In 2015, Sir Tim Hunt, a Nobel Prize-winning biochemist, made a controversial statement. Let me tell you about my troubles with girls. 3 things happen when they are in the lab. You fall in love with them, they fall in love with you, and when you criticize them, they cry. Well, here I am today, a girl, one of the only 3 in a 15 students informatics class. So what should I do? Should I cry or fall in love? Honestly, both are solid options. Falling in love brings vulnerability, and it also fuels growth. Crying opens up the road to resilience and drives me closer to my goals. 7 years ago, I was just a 9-year-old girl with a simple role: being the one to eat the most candies. One random summer day, my mom came into my room and asked if I wanted to take a 2-week course in computer science. I already loved maths, but let's be honest, the only reason I said yes was because I thought I'd learn how to hack my sister's phone. On the first day of the course, I sat beside 2 other girls. We spent the first hour downloading a coding app and learning the basics. Then the teacher told us that he would give us 2 types of tests. One where we'd have to write code to match his instructions, and another where we'd have to solve coding problems written on the whiteboard. But then, he said the magic words that changed everything. The first 5, to get the answers right, will win a candy. Well, that was all I really needed to hear to get my head in the game. The first task came. Do you think I was in the first 5? Well, I was the first to realize I needed more practice. Then the second task came. Do you think I made it to the first 5? Well, I appreciate your trust, but no. I was just counting the candies to be sure that some would remain for next time. I went home that day feeling so sad and crying. But rather than letting this defeat define me, I used it as fuel to push harder. What if I told you that this mindset shift was the key to unlocking my potential? My mom, she tried to solve it in a mother's way. She offered to go and buy me some candy since I was so upset. But no, I had to earn it. I went to class the next day with one goal in my mind. I was going to get that candy. Throughout the lesson, I stayed focused and wrote down anything that could help me win. Finally, the time for the test came. How many sweets do you think I won? Well, I won the entire candy jar. But beyond the prize candy, I realized something more. It wasn't just about getting the sweets. It was about pushing myself, learning from each failure, and staying determined. By the end of the course, I didn't just win candy. I won a piece of cake in the final test too. But not even that was the true reward. The real lesson? Well, I learned it wasn't about my role of being the best coder or winning the most prizes. It was about growing and challenging myself. I learned that it isn't about grabbing the role or the prize. it's about perseverance, learning, and staying focused on your goal, which truly matters. And that was the start of my journey, falling in love with informatics and becoming an Olympic student in the field. A study shows that in 2021, in the European Union, only about a third of the STEM graduates were women. Well, I made it so far, despite being a girl. But what's next? For me, and for the other passionate girls in STEM. STEM connects a range of disciplines, such as science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Georgette Yackman introduced the concept of STEAM. She identified the efficacy of incorporating the R subjects into the research, technical, and development fields of education. When I was a little girl, I was under the impression that only boys could be good at maths. But how did I reach this conclusion? Well, ever since primary school, girls are encouraged to draw, sing, and learn foreign languages, while boys are encouraged to do math and science. I'm sure you're familiar with the idea that math is for boys and languages are for girls. Parents, family, teachers, and friends play a big role on how girls feel about STEM. They can either encourage or discourage them from studying and working in these fields. What parents think of STEM usually depends on their own education. Well, here is where teachers come in. They should create a fun and creative learning environment rather than just teaching facts and formulas. Learning should be like an exciting adventure, especially for us girls who are creative, dream big, and sometimes feel unsure. We deserve to see that learning math and science can be fun and full of discoveries. Imagine a world where every girl felt encouraged and empowered to pursue her interest in STEM. Well, what if we could all contribute to breaking down those barriers and fostering a more inclusive environment? 2.5 years ago, I was a 13-year-old student in the maths and informatics class at TEDxICHB, one of the very few girls there. At the end of the 7th grade, I was walking in the park with a friend, chatting about our plans for high school. I told her that I wanted to stay here and continue pursuing my passion. She was also interested, but confessed something that really stuck with me. She felt left behind, overwhelmed by the curriculum, and didn't know how to catch up. More than that, she felt discouraged being in a class dominated by boys. I understood her completely. It's hard to thrive in a classroom where everything revolves around logic, formulas, and competition, with little room for creativity or collaboration. I also knew that this wasn't just about being good at coding or math. It was about feeling included, like to belong in that space. Here is where leadership shines. I made it my mission to help her. This wasn't about personal gain. It was about creating a space where everyone, regardless of their background, could succeed. I wanted to go beyond the traditional ways that teachers taught us and show her that learning can be different. I pulled out my notebook and said, I will create the perfect summer plan for you. A step-by-step guide with all the theory and all the exercises you need to catch up. We'll do it together. Are you in? She hesitated but said she'd think about it. I went home that day and spent hours creating the most detailed and organized plan I could. I I was determined to help her succeed. But unfortunately, not every story has a happy ending. She ultimately decided to follow other interests, which was her right. Reflecting on that experience, I realized something crucial. Leadership is about creating opportunities for others to discover their potential, no matter their role. And this is the goal we should all strive for in the classroom and beyond. It's not just about teaching the curriculum or playing the role of instructor. It's about you, creating a space where everyone feels empowered to explore and succeed. It's about challenging the curriculum, reshaping it, and leading by the power of your own example, just as I tried to do with my friend. At the end of the 8th grade, I was faced with an important decision of my own. Should I move to another high school, meet new people, and possibly discover new interests? Or should I stay here and continue pursuing my passion for informatics? Well, obviously, it's no longer a question as I'm standing here in front of you. Ever since 7th grade, I was one of the very few girls in my class and the only one interested in computer science. So while boys talked about football, cars, video games, shoes, and well, girls, I would be in some corner watching a series on my phone. Now, don't get me wrong, I love shoes too, just not the same ones they do. I would occasionally offer my advice on their girl-related issues, but the movies and series they watched, just not my cup of tea. Well, I did have a few classmates I could talk to about my passions. Well, one, and only occasionally, but I made it work. So why, despite all these challenges, did I decide to stay? Honestly, I wish I could tell you it was due to some mastermind plan, but the answer stays in one word: goal. I learned to fit in. I didn't want to become another statistic of women who leave STEM. Computer science has given me a purpose in life to follow, and I set up a goal. Here is where your own journey begins. It's not about conforming to roles or expectations. It's about following your calling and achieving your own goals. It's never about the role, the title, or the reward. It's always about the goal and our journey to achieving it. The impact we make, the barriers we break, and the people we inspire along the way. As I'm standing here, I'm reminded that our paths must not be shaped by the expectations of others, but by the goals we set for ourselves. It's about rising above the roles assigned to us and carving out a path that aligns with your aspirations. Roles can be given, but goals are earned. So, will you settle for the role society hands you? Or will you rise above, chasing your true goal? Remembering that when you focus on the goal, you create your own role, and that is when the real change happens. Thank you.